How's everybody doing? This here is Backwoods Billy coming to you from the beautiful Delmarva Eastern Shore. Um, Basically, the other day we had snow here. Today we climbed up into the mid 50s, at which point we've had rain since last night until a little while ago, so it's rather wet here. They call the wet season, and from temperature single digit and 1 point below zero last week, big difference in the weather real quick. I want to come to you about a beer, and I got this to try it, and I wouldn't have bought it otherwise because I thought it was ridiculous the amount of money they charge for a brewery tour, $10, and then another $10 for a distillery tour, when most people either give it's no charge, or if you do pay, it's say $5, and then you have a souvenir glass and 5 tokens or something to have glasses of beer, which is well worth a brewery tour. Anyway, in Ocean City is a big tourist trap. They have approximately 10 to 12 million people per year come to the town. But anyway, I remember seeing an article about the gentleman that owns the brewery in Mid-Atlantic Brewing News that stated that he had started his business by selling sports memorabilia, which I laughed to myself and thought this was funny. February 4th, in the Worcester County Times, businessman charged in fraud to plead guilty. Basically, they have him with $2.5 million that he had sold fake sports memorabilia, which I find interesting. He not only opened the Ocean City Brewery, he also opened one in Harford County, surrendering property. What they probably don't get is most of these type of people also go to different shows. Like you have gun shows, and they go from different things, or motorcycle shows. So they may have him for $2.5 million, but I'm pretty sure he probably has $10 million. If you're going to admit to something like that. But anyway, I'm not somebody that's going to drink from somebody that generally is a criminal, but I do want to talk a little bit about it because it is a pale ale. Pale ales typically come in like 4.5, 5.5 on the alcohol, and this is right in there. Your alcohol per volume is 5.5. Typically they're brewed with more pale malts, and you use softer water when you brew it, and in the United States typically Cascade hops is utilized to give it the flavor of the fruit and floral aromas to it. The hops is just used for a mild bittering to it. Typically they're light golden to almost very, very pale straw color. So I have not tasted one of these before, and I'm not about to support somebody that's a fraud. So I did want to try it because I thought it was kind of interesting review. Get open here. It smells citrusy and kind of grapefruit to it, and this is actually darker for a pale ale. Now, in my opinion, a pale ale is like Sierra Nevada. You saw, for example, made famous by the Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia, is a little paler than this, but this is still in there. It's more of a golden color to it. The head is good. Typically, you have a creamy head with a pale ale. This does come into that. Ales are actually fermented with a top fermenting yeast. That's hence the term ale versus lager bottom fermenting. And the yeast can actually impart a flavor to the pale ale. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give it a try. This will be the first time trying it. Good head retention, looks like nice lacing on the glass. I smell actually a little pepper, which can be another type of hops besides Cascade in there as well. Malt's good, it's well balanced, well carbonated. Bitter aftertaste more so than most pale ales, but well within that realm. Slight bit of malt character to it. It's like with the hops in this is a little more than your typical pale ale, but then again, it's an American style pale ale, and most people today tend to do IPA, so everything tends to be a little bit hopped. I know there's Cascade. I can definitely get the floral notes. I'm getting grapefruit, which also can be Cascade as can lead. Pepper, I would say probably English hops. English hops tend to be more peppery or earthy. And that's what to get the flavor. So I think it does have an English hops in it as well. That's my impression of this. Just like I did a review on another brewery, and they have Cascade, but it definitely had probably Chinook in it, which is more of a pine. But this, it's a good beer. I just have an issue with someone that's going to go out and do something like that. Now, if he had sold counterfeit Rolex watches or Gucci, personally, I wouldn't give a shit, because most of those people, having lived in Baltimore and county and going into the city to do some shopping, I've seen people like that selling them even in the county. Not a big deal, because you know what you're getting. They tell you up front it's counterfeit. So if you pay $50 for a Rolex watch, obviously it's not a $10,000 or $3,500 at the base Rolex watch that you're buying. You get what you pay for. But someone that's selling sports memorabilia, I don't get why you wouldn't pay to go to a thing where these celebrities are signing something, whether it be a basketball team, a football team, whatever. A lot of these guys have charities. And when my wife and I lived in Lutherville, there was a place that actually sold stuff like that. They did like a Postman's Plus, but they were legit. And every one that they did, the local teams, whether it be the Redskins or the Ravens or the Orioles, they would come in, and when they signed it, they took a Polaroid with a limited number on it, and part of the money from that went to whatever their charity was. They gave it to whoever the star was, let's say Cal Ripken, whatever, and then the rest went to them. So it wasn't, they never charged a lot of money for it, but you know it was legit. And you got the Polaroid signed as well, and it was certified. So anyway, this is the gentleman right here. I do find it kind of interesting. I don't know how well their beer sells, but I will say this: in that tourist trap, Ocean City, Maryland, it has become, going there as a child, it was more open. It has been a lot of big hotels, and anybody that opens up there will probably do well. The beer is, it's not bad. It's not.
What's the name of this one?
This is OC Brewing Company, Ocean City Brewing Company, and is their Route 50 Coast to Coast American Pale Ale. And you can see right there on the bottle, 5.5. And I would say the bittering in here is a little bit more than your standard pale ale on it. I would say it's nothing to write home about. A lot of pale ales out there, and if you want to use a Target one, try Sierra Nevada. And if you like it a little more bitter, they have a Torpedo. They have ones that are flavored, which would be better. There's a lot of companies that have pale ales. And I would probably recommend you go to a Baltimore Brewing that has probably one of the best pale ales that I've tasted, which is Union Brewing out of Baltimore, Maryland, and they're legit. What I don't get, if this guy defrauded this, what's he going to do with his brewing company? Would he also utilize stuff that he's not saying is in there, or cheaper ingredients? So that's just my thing. It's not a bad beer. It leaves a bitter aftertaste, which is fine. More in the line of an IPA. So usually with a pale ale, you don't use as many because it's mildly bitter. That's the point of it, because it's not as malty using the pale malts. But that's just my opinion. But I'm going to look at this as well. The glass I chose from this is a standard beer glass, American style. It has a larger open top that allows the head to develop. Typically allows you a little bit better aroma. This here is I don't get paid for this, but this is Mossy Oaks bottle opener, lifetime warranty. You can't go wrong with that. This is Backwoods Billy. On this one, I'd have to say no.